Hello, everyone. Welcome to the next episode of the Execution Show. And I'm super thrilled today to have Dr. Ashish Bajaj with us. Sir, we're very happy to have you today. So, to introduce Sir has previously worked with Nokia, then with Microsoft, then with Ola, then he went on to work with MediBuddy, and now he's working with Narayana Health. So at Ola, sir, you've taken direct or daily traffic or daily rides from 300,000 to 1 million. So and at MediBuddy, you've taken the daily count or daily consultations from 6,000 to 38,000. Currently, he works with one of the largest healthcare brands in the country, which is also a listed entity. And one may check out. So, sir, it's absolutely a pleasure to have you today on board with us for this discussion. I'm looking forward to it. Super excited.
Thank you so much. The pleasure is mine.
So, to start the conversation, as we do with every execution show, we take up one topic and we really break it down into a lot of detail. We break it down into further small pieces and try to understand that in great detail. For today, we're going to understand MarTech for SMEs and small businesses. So MarTech basically means marketing technology. I will not go deeper into it. Let Sir take the lead on it. Sir, anything that you would want to tell our audience to welcome them, one. And then second, my question is, what exactly is MarTech?
I think you've brought them up very well, and you've been doing the show. So congratulations, and congratulations on your recent listing of your episode on Shark Tank.
Thank you so much.
You guys are doing amazing work in terms of bringing about the change in terms of how books are written.
Thank you so much.
So and very happy that I'm part of your journey.
Wow, so thank you so much.
It's great for me as well. So your question in terms of let's start with the buzzword MarTech. Anything to do with marketing, having technology added over layer and being utilized to fulfill your current or new user acquisition. That's how I'll define it in terms of saying what is MarTech.
So the keywords that I take away from what you're saying is combining marketing and technology. And you also said current user and new user acquisition. So, sir, if we break it down in detail, and let's take a larger company as an example. Okay. What would a large company like Ola call as its MarTech operations, or maybe Ola in itself is a tech product? So maybe we take something that's something like
any new product. Let's say any FMCG product.
Okay, yeah.
For instance.
Correct.
So if I am selling a head oil.
Sure.
If I'm that one brand, how does marketing and technology can come together in terms of delivering new users or increasing the repeat of my current users? Okay. So imagine what happens is in our case right now, because we have time at hand in terms of as much as detail we can go. So if I'm a FMCG brand that produces hair oil, I might or might not have direct data of the consuming user for me. So my consumer, I might not have direct data for them. If I'm selling it through e-commerce, I might have, but if I'm selling it through my mom's and pop's stores, it becomes very difficult for me. So thus, a MarTech solution in both these worlds will work very, very differently. Now, when I'm talking about, let's say, a retailer, the solution will become that I will hit prospective or users who I have acquired through e-commerce or trackable channels, find out a lookalike on different other mediums for me, and that becomes my channel of the target audience, where I run information, education, content, that's marketing piece, and use the technology where I figure out a piece of cohort in one part of digital domain, utilize it for another part of digital domain, understand their insight, and take that information, let's say, to the mom and pop store.
How will you do that?
Okay, so let's work on the marketing piece right now. Now, you've acquired 100 users through your e-com selling. And
so e-com will include website and marketplaces both.
Marketplaces both.
So,
and with that, you have an identification of your user.
sure.
Now, with that identification of the user, you create those personas. And by persona, I mean, let's say somebody, he's male. Let's say this cohort is male, who uses a lot of hair oil for nourishment.
Got it.
And because they're using a lot of products on their head for in terms of, let's say, a dryer, let's say something which makes their hair stay for longer. And these are the younger guys who are from, let's say, 25, 30 years age bracket kind of guys who are looking for oil just for nourishment because they're putting so much on their hair. So now this cohort becomes these insights becomes relevant insights for me to market in another cohort for me. Could be, let's say, we do this on Facebook, we do it on Instagram, and even at the mom and pop store as well. And now imagine this is coming from, and I'm finding similar kind of interest people, because if I look at this 30-year-old, they will have very similar interest behaviors, which we can find as again markers in other mediums as well, other platforms as well. And that's a hunch that you take in terms of what will be the closest, and that's how marketing has been.
Sure.
But now you can actually identify basis certain cohorts, which are identifiable cohorts, and then you create that communication piece which is worked for you to convert here, have a similar communication piece here, and that is how you communicate to find new users for yourself. Similar thing, let's say that mom and pop store has their own listings, has their own audience base. Now, the mom and pop store that is within my house 3 kilometers, because I keep messaging them on WhatsApp saying that this is what I want, can you please send? They send it in 40 minutes. Now, if they are also telling me that we have this product, this is what the value of the product is, value in terms of the KSP of the product, not the price of the product. This completes my journey. So I need to enable that mom and pop store user.
What exactly is KSP?
Key selling points.
Okay.
So if I'm creating that kind of content for that mom and pop store, or let's say a grocery store next to my house, they are able to send those messages to their users.
Got it.
So that's how I'm using a learning in one part to utilizing and creating in the other part, which helps me acquire new users for me.
Got it. So essentially what you're saying, for people who don't come from marketing and might find a few technical words confusing for initially, is you go to an existing audience. That can be through e-commerce or that can be through general trade. You
identifiable audience, which you can work on.
Correct.
Because you need a base.
Yeah. And then you take away because you know them on an e-com platform, you take away all the insights that you can draw from them. You take the same messaging, you take the same key selling points, take those things and take it to the offline or the other cohort, other platforms. And this can be, and you create content, you use all sort of things that are borrowed from the insights that you have on platform A. So that increases the number of platforms, that increases your learnings, insights, and all those things.
Absolutely.
How does, as a follow-up of this, when I hear this, it sounds very basic, and this is something very intuitively one should want to, or one should typically do, yet people don't do it. Yeah. So tell me about, what role does tech play in all of this, in facilitating all of this at different touch points?
Brilliant question, because here tech is actually the main enabler.
Okay.
Because one piece of the audience is sitting in North Pole and the other piece of the audience is sitting in the South Pole. There has to be a connecting layer in between. So let's say here North Pole is my own website.
Sure.
Where the user have come in, read about my product, figured out this usage of my particular product makes the most sense for me. and I've bought it. Now that same thing needs to get connected to platform B, where there can be more of this kind of users on that platform. In our case, let's be very, let's say Instagram. Now, if my website traffic is connected back, and please, all PII is compliant. We are not talking about anything where we are just going ahead and sharing every piece of information that is available, and the consent of the user is also taken. I'm keeping in within all the guidelines. It should start talking together. The minute it starts talking together, the technology pipeline role plays the most important part. Because here you will have to identify that similar kind of a user. That identification hoses, because this at my platform level, the profile of the user then needs to be hashly understood by the other technology as well. So the main role actually is technology. That's why these buzzwords of MarTech has become so, in last 3 to 4 years has become so much so.
So what you said is one very simple example, which is connecting your website traffic to your Instagram audience.
Yeah.
And so that Instagram knows who is coming to your website and then looks for similar people on their platform.
Absolutely.
And which is done through Facebook Pixel.
Absolutely. And that's very common happening over decades.
Correct.
But still, SMEs don't do it.
Exactly. So that's what I was coming to. The basic tag managers,
Yes.
all those often miss. The website is not optimized for people. So if someone, let's say, has a business that's at a sub 10 crore run rate annual sales number, and can be any number, can be even 10 lakhs for that matter, can up to 10 crores.
Okay.
If you were to suggest someone, check point by point, how should they approach MarTech or marketing and technology to grow their business or to optimize their business or to drive or capture maximum value that can be captured, which they might not be seeing? What would be that step-by-step list that you would maybe recommend someone in that category?
So let's define what kind of business. Let's
Sure.
define a business.
Then let's take multiple examples. Sure.
It becomes quite easy
Sure.
and relevant also for
Sure.
somebody who's from that business is
Sure.
also listening to it. To start with, let's say I run a HR consultancy.
Sure.
And I have a 10 lakh to 10 crore kind of a business. I've just started on my own. It's a product that sits out of on your hand in terms of picking out, solving my hiring problem.
Yeah. So someone
Because
who
I'm
hires,
growing, I need to solve my hiring problem as well, and I am that product basically. So from that point of view, I think if being a product company, you will have your app, you will have your web, you will have your WhatsApp, whatever, which is fine. I'm saying there needs to be entry points.
So what do you mean by entry points?
Entry points, basically a website.
Okay, where people can enter your
ecosystem. And I'm a supporter where you don't really don't need to own a lot of entry points. There are already existing entry points within the larger digital ecosystem that you can hop on, rather than investing a lot in, let's say, building your own app, building your own web. A lot of people will say, what nonsense are you talking about? But I'm saying to a level, there's already a lot available outside. You might or might not need 2 crore rupees investment in building a website when you are a 10 crore business.
Yeah, you will not be able to do that because
you should not do it. That's a suicide.
Yeah.
Don't do it.
Yeah.
So in that case, first of all, somebody needs to understand how is the entry points happening into the ecosystem. Then only my marketing and technology together will work tomorrow for me.
Sure.
Correct? So in that case, let's say that we build up for a product portfolio, which is also a company which is between, let's say, 1 crore to 10 crore. You don't need anything fancy. Don't build a website which takes crores rupees for you. Don't start from a scratch saying that now that I have the money, I want the best looking app. You need to have a best functional app.
Something that works.
Something that works if I have to make a payment.
Got it.
Something that tracks what user is doing on your website, on your app. That's it.
Okay.
Nothing more that
That
you need.
requires sophistication.
That, not sophistication, I'm saying there's a lot of free tools already available. Firebase integrate कर लो यार. आपको कौन कह रहा है कि आप जाके expenses pixels खरीदो, उसको incorporate करो, and then you start looking at how your traction is. I'm saying there are enough free tools also available, which also is larger ecosystems part. Facebook Pixel you just picked up. अब वो भी integrate कर सकते हो अपनी website के साथ. आप Firebase integrate कर सकते हो अपनी app के साथ भी, अपनी web के साथ.
Simple Google Analytics also.
Google Analytics वही Firebase पे ही work करेगा. तो from that point of view, UTM parameters. तो which are, these are easy things to do. But I'm saying, तो अगर मैं अपना effort website बनाने पे डालूंगा तो कल को I have to put effort on driving traffic also. Correct. But there is already a lot of traffic driven search happening around HR consultancy or roles that I need to. There I need to plug my website, but there are enough solutions which people are already doing, which let's say Google is already doing. Why don't you build yourself there first? आप website के लिए, SEO के लिए, you will spend a lot of time, but you will not spend time on your Google listings.
Google My Business and Google My Merchant Business. Center.
Absolutely. If you are putting in effort, those at the stage that you are, rather than putting those efforts, build this effort, because this will be much faster for you to scale. And this will also give time for you to keep building something which is as per your expectation, the kind of money whenever I have, I keep spending and start building it slowly and steadily. Second is utilize a lot of content consumption that is happening not only just on your platform but outside of your platform as well. तो अब मुझे वेबसाइट पे ही ज़रूरी नहीं है कि मेरे all blogs, मेरी all testimonies need to be there. It's not required. Your YouTube channel can be a big source of driving that information for you. You solve for SEO for YouTube there. So why I'm spending so much of time? Because these are the current mistakes that these guys do. And then you will have these guys within a year kind of come back and say, यार मेरे को तो everyone said that कि website बना ले, उस पे सारे testimonials डाल दे, अब तो कुछ भी नहीं हो रहा. These are your mistakes. If you're not understanding your mistakes, and just doing it because I saw my friend do it, you're gonna kill your business, and you will be under so much of stress in terms of spending that money also.
And then results not coming in the direction.
Results will not come. It will become hard for you, and then you will get yourself in a vicious circle where you'll have to spend more. You'll say, I'll spend 1 crore here. I was spending 20 lakhs a month in terms of getting my push traffic out. And I am now going to spend 35 lakh rupees to cover that 1 crore spend that I've already done. And then you will curse that, oh yaar, isko kuch nahi aata hai ya mujhko kuch nahi aata hai, or digital doesn't work. So problem yahan hai.
Got it. Okay, I understand the basic steps. First thing, basically what you're saying is the entry points. So not to create too many entry points for no reason. Website, traffic, app, do this if required. Otherwise, the ones that exist, the ones like YouTube, Google My Business, WhatsApp. All those should be the WhatsApp. All these should be the first thing where you start.
Absolutely.
So that you transition into that marketing and technology role and business coming from those angles, because using tech yet driving revenue, yet driving business, that starts happening, that clock starts moving. Anything else that they should do, someone who's at this stage?
Oh yes, let's say having the most fanciest website, then that have a better marketplace, Instagram marketplace. Have that solved first, na? Because Instagram pe traffic drive karna is not a problem, is not a bigger problem than a website pe traffic. लेके आना. Instagram पे तो already zillion of user बैठा हुआ है ना, and who will be looking around HR consultancies.
Yeah, I'm sure.
So these are the kind of mistakes you don't need to do. Why? What happens is, when you become this size, you will spend everything in terms of solving your own assets. You will forget where the free user is sitting. You will not use that. You will use
your own.
And then when you have to go back in terms of solving that problem, you feel that problem is too small to solve.
Yeah.
Because at the start, it will be. So let's say after that, it becomes important on engaging the consumers that have interacted with you. So second level problem is, the first level is I've entered your house. Now I need to engage with you once you have left.
Yeah.
Or you are there.
Remind you that I exist.
Correct. Or whenever you, let's say you are still there on one of my platforms, or you have left also, I have to bring you back to my platform or any of these source points. Tomorrow, let's say you come to my office to know more about me. Tomorrow you come to my social media page to know more about me. Tomorrow you write an email to me to know more about me. So how do I reactivate all of this engagement with you as well? Becomes the second most important point for these guys.
So the ecosystem.
Right? Absolutely. Because at this stage, each lead is a gold mine. You can't be in a place where you are converting only 10% of the leads that you're getting, and you're not even having engagement with the 60% of the people that have reached out.
That'll kill the business.
Then you're not driving the most out of your MarTech strategy.
That is true.
That means you're just scratching the surface. So imagine this. Let's say everyone understand this very well. I'm being the brand where my on-ground sales team went and met a lot of the CHRO. Sir, आपका कोई requirement है, please help कर दो. अगर कुछ है तो tell us, we can support you. They went in and met 10 of them.
Yeah.
And they had an engagement running with 6 to 8 of them. After that, phone पे चल रहा है. Sir, how are you? Sir, happy birthday. Sir, happy Saturday. ये engagement चल रहा है उनके साथ. And there is a much more highly likely a chance of those 6 to 8 converting for you rather than those 2 that you have not even touched again.
Got it.
So now just replicate that level of engagement, relationship building, and taking care of you onto digital forces. So that becomes the second most important part.
Sure. So first thing that you said was entry points, controlling them, limiting them, and focusing on the ones that are easier to do where you have traffic. And second point that you mentioned is engaging them and getting them at multiple touch points. So maybe let's say if you meet a doctor, so to ask them to follow your Instagram, or maybe someone you know on Instagram, asking them to meet in person or asking for them for email, things like that. Next, what they should do?
So between these only is a lot of play of content.
Sure.
We've not spoken about the play of content, because as long as you are looking at all this technologically linking pathways, you also need to understand at which point and level which kind of content work. Yeah. So we were just talking that somebody comes and meets me and says happy birthday. Somebody tells me, oh, happy Sunday. These are relevant conversations. Yeah. So now if those relevant conversations becomes content pieces in a different domain or platform for me, that allows me to do the first 2 things, which is enter into your platform or re-engage with you on that platform. So let's say it was HR. Then if I'm able to somehow figure out that what is the requirement of that person, let's say this CHRO that I was pursuing or was reaching out to, reached out on our platform and then driving engagement with that, if I'm able to assess what his or her LinkedIn post was, and I'm able to give them the content basis that, and it's very much possible nowadays. Imagine that's my goldmine.
Yeah.
And I'm engaging with you, which is relevant.
So that drives conversations and builds relevance, I feel.
At least interest. It created an interest in my mind in terms of saying, यार शायद इसको कुछ पता है जो इसके लिए मेरे लिए helpful हो सकता है. If I'm struggling at some point in time, let's say my current struggle is to hire a CMO, if that is what a CHRO wants to do, and he's talking about this, or why can't I as a brand go back and tell him or her that these are the 6 ways where others have done it well, or you can do well.
Yeah. Or here are 5 methods that work.
That can allow you to hire or narrowing your search for getting the next best hire for you.
Or even like here are 5 leads that you can talk to, and then here we have 50 more, something like
that is very true for, let's say, e-com. Fashion might not be for HR, but let's say you are you're a small fashion brand. You've created a green organic kind of fashion brand. For them, that might become very, very true.
Got it. And following this, anything on the monetization front?
I can build that into a subscription. That is one piece of monetization. Second, I think you meant monetization by end goal of me buying into the consultation services that you are selling. So currently, yes, as a market, we Indians don't understand subscription. But I'm very, very happy to primes and the OTTs of the world, because now owning so many subscriptions is fine. But for me as a brand, this becomes a reality check. That if I can hold on to the user, it's through a subscription gets locked in.
Got it.
That's good for the brand, right? But let's say monetization point of view, now that I have engaged with you, first I've got you into my channels. You've started my products. The products make sense for you. And then I've brought you back to complete your conversion as well by giving you relevant pieces of information. And now the technology that I'm using in terms of making that conversion also should be frictionless.
Yeah.
Manu, I've got you on my platform, or let's say I'm running this entire conversion through WhatsApp.
Sure.
And the payment platform again wants your sign in.
Okay. So that will lead to drop off.
That will lead to drop offs. So you need to have the technology also in place, which is absolutely frictionless for you.
So we've been talking about the HR consulting firm and the common mistakes, and till monetization, what all can they do? What are some things that they should learn? One from a marketing angle and second from a tech angle. कि क्या दो, क्योंकि what happens is मार्टेक जैसे ही बोलते हैं लोग, मार्केटिंग वाले डर जाते हैं टेक सुन के और टेक वाले डर जाते हैं मार्केटिंग सुन के, और फाउंडर डर जाते हैं दोनों सुन के. तो प्रॉब्लम इज बिकॉज दीज आर टू हार्ड स्किल्स, टू एब्सोल्युटली डिफरेंट स्किल्स वेयर देयर इज नो ओवरलैप अनलेस समवन इज स्पेशली ट्रेन्ड फॉर मार्टेक. So what are some things that one should know of, one should get familiar with, one from a marketing angle, and then let's come from a tech angle as well?
So you want to pick up a different example, or we still work on the same example?
Same example would be good.
Okay. So let's say from a marketing angle, certain do's and don'ts every time starts from the very basic of knowing what's the insight of your perspective or already bought audience. गलती क्या करते हैं ना कि I have acquired some 10,000 users, I am the king, I know how it is done. प्रॉब्लम क्या होता है, मैंने उसके की बैरियर्स नहीं समझे हैं और की मोटिवेटर्स नहीं समझे हैं in terms of why he or she has bought my product. And then you build onto your world of marketing for it, in which of course the first thing works is the brand building. And by brand building, it is again a very abused word.
Very abused.
अरे यार ये brand building से होता क्या है? It's just that imagine if you are a HR consultancy and you are a product-led solution.
Okay.
You have based your faith in saying that if I build a technology solution, it will deliver for me. Correct? That was your basic premise. कि यार ये प्रॉब्लम मैं सॉल्व कर रहा हूँ. सिमिलरली जब आपको उस यूज़र की इनसाइट्स ही नहीं पता है
तो क्या
और मैं क्या कंटेंट बना रहा हूँ, वो कंटेंट उसके लिए रेलेवेंट है ही नहीं, एंड देन आई स्टार्ट फीलिंग आई एम डूइंग द रॉन्ग थिंग एंड दिस ब्रांड बिल्डिंग इज़ वेरी अब्यूज्ड. इससे कुछ नहीं होता है. तो इस केस में द वे आई फाउंड आउट द गैप in current HR consultancy ecosystem and built that on a product for me, through a product for me. Similarly, user को चाहिए क्या था, otherwise हर बार क्या होता है, every HR consultancy will come and say, सर
ये कर दो, ले लो,
मेरे पास इतना बड़ा रिसोर्स पूल है, मैं ये डिलीवर करता हूँ, मैं वो डिलीवर करता हूँ, मैं सबसे चीपेस्ट हूँ. That's a relationship sell. That's not brand. That's not pull. That's absolutely push. Now imagine if you have done your insights right, you would have gone back to the user or let's say any of the CHROs and you would have gone back to them and said, sir, aapke yahan se you had taken this services from us. Basis this services, these many people came on board. And I've worked out with your team in terms of saying the attrition was lowest in this cohort. This cohort's KPI deliverables has been the highest. That is where I'm giving the insights, working on finding that insights. Similarly, if I put this into the marketing world for that particular HR consultancy as well, that CHRO becomes my prospective consumer. So I need to understand his barriers as well. That barrier was having a very high attrition rate.
He will tell you.
Very high price. People not deliver to KPIs than what they say. Those insights will come from him or her.
Yeah.
That as a brand, I need to go back and talk to them about. And basis that, my marketing team needs to create content like that. That when you come to us, we make sure the team that you are taking from us delivers the highest KPIs. Within 3 months or let's say within 3 quarters, they achieve their KPIs. Or let's say they are paid at par, so the motivation is not a problem. Or the retention of those guys are highest because they are self-motivated. They have built relationships within the organization. That's the insights that your content then needs to work on. That's marketing, and that is how your brand gets built on a very relevant insights, which the consuming audience, which is the CHROs, will love to see. Rather than me generically coming and telling you, भाई वो 15% पे काम करता है, मैं 12% पे काम करूँगा. तब तो सभी वही कर रहे हैं ना. Then how is that CHRO or that person or that cohort of people gonna see you as a different brand? So that's the marketing point of building the right insights. And now if you generalize this to any business, any business, this will be true. Now, if let's say it's a consumer business where the cohort is not just 2 lakh odd CHROs, but 2 crore consumers, which was the oil we were talking. So we again, if you remember our conversation, we went straight to why did that user bought it for me? Because for him, it was a weekend usage of my oil for a re-nourishment. So then I need to create content basis that. That's the basic of marketing that you need to really solve. And
so first thing that you're saying is that they need to get to insights. Yes. Basically, and the way to get to insights is talk to consumers.
Absolutely.
There is absolutely no shortcut to talking to consumers. No ChatGPT, no Google search, no primary report, secondary report. Ask them over email, over chat, over call. But I also have an experience that we did when we tried talking to customers. The initial bit that people, at least at this stage, make, and we also made this mistake, is we reach out to customers randomly calling them, which gives us good raw directional insights. But these surveys or these discussions also need to be a balance between structured and yet giving them a free space to tell us whatever they want to.
Absolutely.
So maybe probably what we have done, again, we need to, with time we'll know how effective it is. Obviously it's more effective than the one we were using, is have a set of MCQs or a set of rating things, but also have a set of open-ended questions. Less people will fill it, but whatever they tell you in open-ended questions, that's pure gold, because that is them telling without you directing them towards a conversation.
Correct. And then you can follow up those conversations over call.
Correct.
Sir, can I block a 7 to 7:30 with you? You have put up a very decent point or a very brilliant point for us, which we want to deep dive. Can I have a conversation with you? So then you don't need to go that 20 MCQs or rating questions.
Correct.
You straight away come to the point and saying that elaborate this more for me. And you're 100% correct. There are no shortcuts. If you yourself are not talking to your consumers, you can't win the battle. Because then you are generalizing a lot of things, which will again
come back. So one is knowing your customer, in the sense getting the insights. You use the word insights. I've seen multiple times, and that really reflects the sense of it. Insights meaning, or what I assume is things that you do not know that the customer is wanting to tell you.
Correct.
What else should one know from a marketing angle?
So then the kind of content that you're producing should be relevant for each channel that you're going to use to promote it. That becomes your second big cohort.
Sure.
Of checklist. क्योंकि insight तो समझ में आ गया. अब अगर now if I say let's compare this between different channels. Let's say this oil only. It is being sold, let's say hypothetically 30% of the sales happen through mom and pop and grocery, etc. stores for them. Now, let's say 30 to 40% of the sales is happening. So that means the user is going there and there is an opportunity for conversion at the point of sale.
Sure.
So the same insight, how will that work in that particular medium? Then the content needs to be designed like that. अब अगर मैंने कंटेंट समझ के कि उसने नरिशमेंट पे काम करना था, आई हैव मेड अ ब्रिलियंट वीडियो आउट ऑफ इट, इट वोंट हेल्प. पॉइंट ऑफ सेल पे आई विल नॉट बी एबल टू रन अ वीडियो देयर. यू विल नॉट बी एट अ ग्रोसरी स्टोर व्हेन आई एम पासिंग द आइल. आई विल नॉट बी एबल टू गेट योर अटेंशन ओनली. सो इट्स अ क्रॉस फॉर मी. यू आर नॉट एबल टू अडैप्ट a content piece that would have been relevant to a particular medium, and you had let go the content piece which made you feel happy that I've produced is not relevant to 40% of the users of where your sale is coming from. So that is why the second most important checklist of that particular marketing team is whatever I'm producing is relevant to all channels, or I'm creating channel-wise specific content.
Sure.
अब मेरा Instagram focus है, and I'm still building something which is 6 minutes. That's death. Why am I doing it?
True.
ठीक है ना? I would say even if it is 2 minutes, it's a death. But if it is YouTube, not short, I'm saying YouTube, 2 minute plus makes a lot of sense. Like you said, when we were starting off, you said, I would like to break down the conversation in a format that makes sense for me.
Sure.
That's your podcast. Way of utilizing the content in the right format.
Sure.
So, उस केस में, if we are not building it, then that insight is also not getting utilized properly.
True. Fair enough. So second thing that you said is the content piece. So insights followed by content. Third?
So we can pick up the third point is in terms of then the remarketing of it. I've made the engagement with you.
Yeah, the engagement we touched upon earlier.
So we made the engagement point with you. Let's say I've understood the insight well. I've created that content piece and I've distributed that content piece to you guys. You have made a couple of impressions on it. Let's say I was an ardent follower on you on Instagram. I was able to see that at least once. But at least once doesn't guarantee me as a conversion for buying that hair oil or taking your HR consultancy services, right? I need to know more. One, either from multiple channels So am I able to plan my media and able to drive a lot of exposure of the content that I've made? If I'm not able to do that, then it doesn't register in your mind. Then what will I say? Arey yaar, this piece entirely doesn't work for me. But somebody needs to understand and say, ki, oh, stop. It's not working out. Why? You have a great insight. You have a great content piece, but you've not created the right exposure. Could be that through Instagram I saw, through YouTube I saw, at the point of sale I saw. That is when at least I start registering. How many times you register by seeing just once a piece of communication? It doesn't happen. That's not how our minds are wired. So that is the third most important point is the content that I have created, not defined as remarketing, the content that I have created gets enough exposure in your mind in terms of different platforms or same platform also.
So would amplification be the right word for this?
Yes. And a lot many time will also give you an idea of this particular audience of yours is consuming which all content types. So in our marketing terms, we call it day in a life of a consumer, and you match the media channels that they consume. And that's how your amplification plan gets built on.
And anything next on marketing side?
That becomes remarketing. So, for instance, you've seen it, let's say 6 times. But that need is not there for you. HR consultancy, you've seen it, you have got it registered that XYZ brand are the right guys for me. But I don't need to hire right now. My team is full. My leaders are full. Or let's say there is no requirement right now. My requirement might come in quarter 2, quarter 3, quarter 4. Or let's say 6 months from now or a year from now. So that is the remarketing part of it.
And staying relevant till then.
Staying relevant till then. Now your
the tech side.
Marketing cohort is complete.
Sure. So these are things that one needs to understand from a marketing angle, particularly the ones that are the smaller businesses. Often there are technical gaps in these. At larger businesses, you don't expect a lot of technical gap. The understanding.
No, sorry.
There are?
Absolutely.
They're outside the leadership team. Maybe the technical marketing team will have these skills individually within them.
Within them, yes. But I'm saying technology, not the people.
Okay.
But a technology itself will not be talking to each other.
Okay.
So that is also a problem with big companies.
Okay.
And it's a big problem. You will find now a lot of companies are building a homogeneous teams which are going to solve for data flows.
Data, because it passes through so many teams in the same company, it just becomes a nightmare for the person managing or the team managing data because everyone wants it in a different format.
Absolutely. So let's just stay here. That's a very interesting point. This oil selling company was selling it at a grocery store. Which has its own SAP.
Okay.
Yeah. And it knocked off the products and it was able to sell it. They had that mobile number mapped, but how that data flows back to you.
And Will does it?
Does it, first of all. If it does, it will only does by saying that this particular grocery store has sold 20 of my product in a month's time. Or let's say in a year's time, for instance, whatever is the time period, just irrelevant right now because we are trying to say how the data flows back. So now this goes back to my inventory management team.
I think first to distributor, then to inventory.
Agree. So this entire chain. And what happens is I bundle 22 bottles for the next month. Finish. End of discussion. It never went back to the marketing team. It never went back to the R&D team. It never went back to anyone. It just got siloed there. Now imagine if there was a homogeneous trail, this 20 users, let's say 20 bottles that I had sold, one could have got an insight of saying one person only bought 3 times. Then you would have only pushed your retailer at the front end saying that, at least give me certain insights, or I'll ask my marketing team, what are the insights that you need? I'll get it from the partner.
Or call that person up.
Or I'll get it from the partner saying that, how many people bought it? Were it 20 or 20 or there was a repeat? What if I can know more? Can I get this survey link sent to them so that I get more understanding of those guys?
Yeah.
So that is how people start talking for that particular 20 bottles that have been sold. R&D team, was there any feedback given on the oil? If somebody would have bought it for replenishment, had it work or not?
Yeah.
So somebody who's buying it again becomes such an important person for them.
And data is not flowing in this case.
And data is not flowing. Nothing is flowing. It's in the silos. And at the marketing team, they are still creating something. R&D team, they're still creating something. The person who's buying is not even in the circle of things.
Great. So yeah, and then also the operational issues, like every general trade person is using a separate SAP. Then putting those together in one tool, standardized, which can collect data from different sources of data.
Absolutely.
So those kind of issues, and then people understanding where to pass data next, or having the right dashboards in the place. So those kind of issues, and those are the smaller ones if you look at the ones that you mentioned.
So imagine I was talking to somebody who's appointed for doing this job at a French big makeup house company. She's stationed out of their France headquarters, and her job is to make sure that all the 11 main business units are sharing data.
And I'm sure it's not a one-person job.
Of course, it is not. And it requires working with the chairman, CEOs, and all the 11 sub-vertical CEOs.
And also keeping that everything is shared, but also privacy and sensitive data is not shared.
And they're creating it now. And I'm talking about somebody who has a business of $20 billion plus.
Wow. So to implement data collection at every center.
Sanitization, collection, and then giving out the feed that you just said.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So it's a big problem.
Yeah.
That's your technology gap, basically.
Yeah.
So now if you come back to oil we covered, I'm saying these are the homogeneity of the data being available at different cuts and how it is presented. And then all the normal things in terms of how I need to act on that data. Do I need the CRM? Or there are brands, I'm talking about certain small and big. Yeah, for the bigs for sure. They've gone ahead and given those grocery stores their SAPs.
Yeah.
Or they've done a integration saying that when it is my product, these are the 4 fields from your data set of SAP flows into mine. I will take up that cost of it and I'll do it.
And that's, I think, a business model also where a lot of people want to get into the software side of things so that the store data is captured. For example, I can imagine that makes a lot of sense for someone like us. We are into books publishing, but having a software that's focused on book sellers and stationery sellers and getting them to punch in their orders through our software, even though it's not our products, even asking them to manage inventory, that imagine the kind of understanding that it will give us for our business, what kind of products are working for others in the market.
Yep.
So I think that is one large, we would want to do products that are working, that are not working, topics that are working, that are not working, and the data is flowing in a very real-time basis.
Absolutely.
So I understand that part. From a tech angle, again, we covered the data layer. From a tech angle, what does one need to know who doesn't come from a tech background? What do they need to know or understand so to implement these tools better?
Yeah. For instance, if you're talking about a founder to know these things, I'm saying even having a know-how of making sure that the data is being flown properly. And by the look of it, it has actionables possible out of it. I think that's still fine. But at a founder level, I'm saying, but at an expert level, you need to be sure My CPaaS is up to date. I'm using the latest versions, whatever.
What is CPaaS?
So basically, I'm using which is for consumer product differentiations.
Okay.
If I'm entering just like SAPs of the world, there are much more cheaper versions now, which allows you to do data entry at the first layer, which is again can be your input or let's say the platform entry layers, where you have at least customer profiling. Then you're utilizing it for your let's say CRMs of the world. And then in the middle, I think we missed out on talking about your CMS, which is content management. So what kind of content can be created, changed, etc., on which platform. So these are basic layers that if as a founder, I know I'm in good space to bringing them together. If I'm able to do that, this so-called buzzword of MarTech will not be a problem for me to understand. Because now I understand what is getting in. I will see what is coming out. So it's input versus output, and I can drive my mathematical calculations. All our founders are very good with maths. So for them, the job is done. But second part, which is the human behavior, that you need to trust to those guys. Have trust on those guys.
Those guys would include the
MarTech teams, the tech teams, the marketing teams. Let's say it's a HR consultancy is a new startup, very young. They might not be having the budget of having a MarTech lead, for instance. Marketing product guys, and there will be technology team which will come together to solve it. So each of them, the founder trust in terms of solving their
problem. Sure.
That they identify which is the right tech. They identify the flow of data. The marketing teams identify the right insights and identify how to use the CRM tool, how to use the CMS tool in terms of bringing out the changes in the content when it is required.
Sure.
So those things, I think, then in homogeneity works well for you. Not more than that is required.
Got it. So from a founder perspective, you're saying just understand data, how is it being generated, how is it flowing, and where is it used? Just that much, and after that, leave it on the teams. Yeah. So that brings me to a follow-up question. So that gives us a basic understanding of marketing side and the tech side that is required, because it is intimidating for someone who is not familiar with these fields.
Absolutely.
So and the moment the tech teams and the laptops go up, it all starts sounding like an alien language.
Mm-hmm.
So what kind of teams or team structure should companies this size have to implement this layer within them?
Yeah, this layer, I'd say for a up till a 10 crore kind of a run rate, these teams will be very expensive for them.
Yeah, exactly.
And before I get into the teams, I would like to say that even if as a founder, it becomes intimidating or alien,
it does.
There's no harm. You don't have to come out the most smartest in a room. Okay. And that comes because of some insecurity, or somebody has it in a mind saying that yaar main founder hu, how can I say mujhe nahi aata? So that's something that any leader or any founder needs to work on themselves before I get into, because this is a much larger question to take up, because sometimes these founders feel that if I would say, they will not trust me tomorrow. Honestly, the minute you ask those stupid questions, they will be able to tell you more than you blocking and saying, ha, mujhe aata hai.
Nahi aata hai, clearly.
Because nahi aata hai.
And it's very difficult to know all of it.
Because those guys might have spent some 6-7 years, to start with, but you might be hearing it 6-7 hours.
Yeah.
So there's a huge difference. So now coming to the structures. See, for somebody who's that young into the business, you can't expect them to have hands-on MarTech teams because it comes with a huge cost.
Absolutely.
And the leaders at this stage comes with a lot of cost as well, and a lot of big organizations are doing these changes. Okay, and as we speak, they are into it from last couple of years also. Thus, these kind of hirings are very, very hot.
Expensive, yeah.
So, us case mein, like I said, these two teams can sit separately, who can actually make a functional work, and then are actually holded together by the founder or somebody next to the founder who has a lot of vision or not control, I'll say, who had a lot of visibility to what is happening in the overall business.
Sure.
It need not be the founder, I'm saying, but if the founder is there at the start, because he can really well then connect
everyone, because people can only see their picture.
तो उस केस में these teams का structures, if you have somebody who's let's say the brand guy or the marketing guy in your team, who's supported by, like, would be the hybrid version of creative agencies, and at the end of utilizing the tools, you can take up again a hybrid version, or have a CRM guy within your team who executes the campaigns and creates the journeys, data sanitization, and let's say the flow of the users and connecting all the plugs together. That is done by the tech teams, and the founder is actually playing the middleman in terms of saying that yaar ye tera theek tha, ye tera theek tha, yahan tera gap hai.
So now that we understand the teams, let's take another example, a very simple one. Let's take an example of a manufacturing firm, rather than a service firm.
Okay.
Does any of what you said change?
I think a couple of more layers gets added.
Sure.
Okay. Let's say if you're a manufacturing firm, the first and foremost becomes, because if you're a manufacturing firm, the most of the expenses is going in terms of procuring the raw material and building the raw material and packaging of it.
Yeah.
So how does that part of the equation is also built into your entire data homogeneity?
Got it.
That is also required. Now, if you're a manufacturer, so that means you're building physical products. If you're building those physical products, you will be selling it in the physical stores.
Sure.
Let's take back to our oil idea, oil conversation, oil brand. You can actually bring in a lot of new technology into play. Let's say, again, another buzzword being the AI of it. And let's say we go back to the same retailer or same grocery store. You say you have your cameras up. I'll bring in the software and I'll install the AI capability in terms of knowing what people are doing with my product. I just need my aisle. I'm okay with anywhere else, and it's completely PI compliant. Not gonna do anything haywire. So in that case, I can record reactions, pricing reactions, product look and feel reactions. I can record a lot of things in terms of analysis built on top of it with your expressions. So that is something which is new. Now, let's say if I know which kind of hair product is getting sold. The third layer which needs to understand is what I'm producing. If I know that people are picking up my 100 ml bottle of a particular variant more, then I can optimize real time.
Yeah.
I don't need to wait for 2 months for that data to come back to me.
Yeah.
Because I've already done the procurement. Within 2 months, I would have already done the procurement. And I will not wait. I would have already done the packaging. Because the packaging material would have already been ordered. So if people are not liking because of their expressions or figure out they don't like my packaging, or because of my packaging they are getting attracted, I'll try to bring in my entire packaging into the same cohort. So for a manufacturing firm, I think if you bring these things together, that is one added layer. And again, it's a data layer. It's not a marketing layer that gets added. I've not thought through if there is any marketing idea, but yeah, we can leave it to your viewers also. If they can come up with something, they can comment. It would be great for us to also learn. So from that point of view, these are the certain things that get added for a manufacturing product.
Sure. So that you naturally answered my question around AI, where I was going to where AI and these factors how or where, what role do they play in the situation of in the field of MarTech? So one is obviously the data collection, data analysis layer that you mentioned. Do you not see a role in distribution or the marketing side of things?
Absolutely, yes. We picked up because we were talking about manufacturing, so I thought it's much more straightforward. Even that helps in merchandising as well. So imagine, I know where people are going when they're looking for those oil, which are the aisles they're hitting more. So I'll try to put my product there itself, etc., etc. But from a marketing point of view, now all the CRM products that you might be had worked with or heard about him, they talk about personalization. They talk about personalization not to the individual level. They talk about personalization to a cohort level. But if I build that with that CRM tool, build the AI capability, I can go down to as much as to the Ashish level. I don't need to break up that cohort. The AI engine will break it to it for me and will write communication pieces which is relevant and content that is relevant for that individual.
Which is great, which is the next point.
So imagine had within that cohort there were 20 of them which were getting the re-nourishment, and they've written it back to us with that survey that we were talking about, and now I'm building the content for each individual type
with that survey.
Wow. Earlier we were not able to do it. If I have to do it, it's not possible for scaling it to 2 lakh 20 lakh kind of a people for me. But now I can do it.
Because
hey Ashish, we saw that vitamin D reduction was there or whatever re-nourishment was happening with you. I think you're still feeling that there is dandruff that is coming out. Stop washing your hair with hot water.
Because you filled that form and say it's told like
so
that.
Then I can connect that feedback survey through the AI engine, through my CRM, and the campaigns can get executed.
Wow. That's huge. That'll lead to a lot of relevance and brand relevance into things. All right. So I think we've learned a lot about MarTech today, about understanding marketing and technology individually and together, and how majorly these can help smaller businesses at the size of 1 to 10 crore. And these businesses we saw can be almost anything, can be almost anything that uses marketing and technology. And I believe all businesses at that point will be using a mix of it. So with that, we will conclude today's discussion. We had a very detailed talk. We understood about the different what exactly is MarTech. We understood about the team that's required. We understand what are the things that MarTech can solve for in these businesses, the marketing angle of things, what should one look for, and the technology angle of things, what should one understand in terms of understanding the data and its implementation. We understood about AI and how that can hyper-personalize marketing and hyper-personalize the conversations that you have with your customers. So with that, we'll draw an end to today's conversation. It has been absolutely wonderful, sir, to have you here.
Okay, please.
Anything that you would want as closing remarks to our audience? And second, sir is also writing a book with us on MarTech. So if you're watching this, the book might be in the market soon, or is already, or will be in the market soon. So if you have anything to tell the audience.
Closing remarks, I think I'll pick up the gist from what we've been talking. It's important to work on basics, and there is no harm in saying I don't know the basic. It's fine, you tell me. And if we do that, and as a founder, as a leader, this is a new concept. And if there is a new concept, you want to change yourself in terms of learning rather than not change yourself and become irrelevant. So that's my humble request to everyone who's watching.
Sure. That's something that one should definitely look at. Personally, I will definitely spend a lot of time in today's conversation. So, and anything about the book that you've written, sir?
Yeah. So what we've been trying to do today, that's what the idea of the book as well, in terms of decode simple steps in terms of implementing this strategy.
Sure.
And because sometimes people feel, because of the fear of unknown, people feel it's a very dangerous territory to be in.
Yeah.
So that's what me and Zebra Learn is helping me in terms of make it into that kind of a structure. And I hope it will help all its readers.
Wow. So looking forward to the book. I'm extremely excited to the book as well, because this is a topic that's personally very exciting and close to me. So thank you everyone for taking out time. It's been absolutely wonderful for you to again join in on this and the discussion that we have had. We hope this brings change into your business and helps you grow your business to the next step. That is what we aim with each and every of our execution show episodes. So with this, we will take your leave and we'll meet you super soon in the next episode. Till then, let's work together on learning and growing our businesses. So thank you so much. Thank you, sir. Thank you for all your time.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you.